Hello my creatives and welcome to another video. So today I'm here to share how I made a top folding flipbook for my friend Dorothea. And I am going to base the size of the flipbook around this Tim Holtz stencil that you are seeing here, because I made her a mixed media tag and I really wanted the tag to fit in the flipbook. So that is what I used as my reference point. The papers that I'm using today I bought at Action a long time ago, so I don't think they have them anymore. But you can use, of course, any paper that you like. You can do all kinds of variations on this flipbook. This is also the first time that I made a top folding flipbook, so it was quite a thing to figure out, especially because I had such a specific thing I wanted to add in my flipbook. So that is why where I measured all the things. So I measured the width and the length of the tag to decide on how big I wanted to have my base. So my base is 9.5 inches tall, and I will figure out how much I need to do. I don't know how wide this is. I think 6 inches. I think it's 6 inches wide. And now I'm figuring out how much I need for the tag to fit in there. And I figure out that the tag is about 4 inches, so I will add a little bit of space there, so the pocket that the tag will go in will not be too snug, that there will be a little bit of space. So that is what I'm figuring out right here. These are things I do on the fly. So this is about 5 inches wide. It's a little bit under that. But I do this on the fly because it's specifically made for this tag. But if you want to make something similar like this, then you can take approximately 9 inches tall and 5 inches wide paper, and then 2 pieces of it. So now it is time to make the pockets, and the rule I have with pockets is that I add up 1/2 inch on all sides for my scoring lines to adhere my pockets to the base. So for example, if I want my pocket to be 5 inches wide, I cut my paper at 6 inches, so that leaves me 1/2 inch on both sides to score, and also add up an extra 1/2 inch on the bottom, so I can make these scoring lines and adhere my pockets down. So I also always cut out the little pieces with a kind of a triangle shape, so it doesn't bulk up under there. And I'm going to score my folding lines, and I made sure that these pockets were about 2.5 inches staggering from each other. So this is also really how you want to do it. I believe there is a pocket that is 2.5 inches, the other is 5 inches, and the other one is 7.5. I believe something like that. But I try to keep the spaces of the staggering pockets, to try them kind of equal. So this will be the base of my flipbook, and it will be top folding. I never made a top folding one before, so that is very exciting. It was quite hard to film this, I have to say, because this size doesn't fit in my screen. So I am messing around with camera angles, but I can't get it in screen fully because it's so big. So I hope you don't mind. It was quite hard. But I still hope you feel inspired by this video to make a top folding flipbook. So now I'm just going to eyeball stuff, because really I don't really like measuring. It's because I have to sometimes. But I just made a mark on my base paper to cover it up, because these papers are single-sided and I don't want to have any white paper showing. So I'm just putting a mark with my pencil, knowing where to put my paper down. And I will also cover up the bottom, no, the top flap with pattern paper. So these are scraps, and I prefer using scraps, but for this bottom part I didn't have the right scrap. So now I am going to punch out 1/2 circle out of the pockets. I think that's a nice touch to add, especially because I'm not going to do any more intricate, elaborate things, or you might think so I did, but I wanted to add this little notch because the pockets are the base of this whole flipbook, so I thought it would give a finishing touch. So now I'm going to stick them down staggering, as you saw before, and that will be the base of my flipbook. I also took out some binder clips because this is pretty thick cardstock and it was coming up a little bit. So I'm going to add some binder clips on the sides to keep them closed, because really I don't have the patience to hold it down with my hands waiting till the glue is dry. So this is also a preferred method of me, is to just stick down the paper and cut around it. I don't want to measure it, and also I will probably measure it a bit short or a bit too long, so I still have to cut it or I have to change the paper anyways. So what I'm doing right now is assembling the flipbook. So I stick down some double-sided tape first, because washi isn't the strongest thing there is. So I figured out that if I would add some double-sided tape first and then my washi on top of it, I would still have the pretty washi, but I don't have to be scared that it will fall apart. And now the base of my flipbook is ready. And this is what I'm going to work with. So I'm very happy with this flipbook. I really enjoyed making this because it is also so different from what I usually did. So I had a lot of fun with that. I also started adding my stickers to all of my Happy Mail. I forgot that I had those. So I tried to make an effort to add them to my projects. So now I'm going to start decorating the front cover, and the feather die cuts are from Action and the clear stickers of the cotton are from Aliexpress. I also bought these very, very long ago, so I don't know if they are still available. I think on Aliexpress you can find them by typing in journal stickers, clear journal stickers, something like that. But I don't know if they are still available. So now I'm just going to fiddle around with my embellishments and trying to find out what I want to do. So after I was done putting all my pieces down on my front cover, I wanted to do a doodly border. And of course I do a doodly border. And I add some hearts with my Posca paint marker in silver. All the supplies that I use that I can find online, there is always a list of everything that I use, so everything is listed. And if I can find it online, there is a link for you in the description box to see what I bought. Some of them are affiliate links and some of them are not, but just so you know. And now I'm going to write out "Hello Dorothea" because I love to add someone's name onto my project, and I'm just using a black Posca paint marker to write out her name and the saying. And I'm very happy with the end result. I also add some dots here and there just because I felt like doing so. But I'm very happy with the Posca paint markers because they write on anything and they are so opaque. They are amazing. So after drying it off, I am erasing my pencil marks because I also write everything out in pencil first. Now I am going to start working on the inside of my flipbook, and I will start with the top folding part, and I wanted the top folding part to be completely decorative. But first I did a doodly border around my whole flipbook on all the outsides of everything. I'm sorry that I added that out, but my face and my head was like in front of everything, so you would have only seen my head and not my hands. So like on the front cover, I'm adding these washi touches because I thought it looked pretty. And now I will start decorating my front or my inside cover or my inside flipbook. Usually before I start, I gather some supplies and I will grab from that stack. If I want something else on there, I will definitely grab something else, but it's good to have a small selection ready for you so you don't have to go through your big stash. And that's what I like to do. I like to choose some papers, and when I have my papers, after that I have built my base of my flipbook. Then I will go through my embellishments and pick out embellishments that I think that will fit. If it's a collection, I already have, of course, the embellishments ready, but I always take the time to go through the embellishments and pick out pieces that I want to use, like you also saw me doing before in that big pocket bag. I just took out the things that I wanted to use. So to tie everything in, I also used the Posca paint marker to doodle silver hearts on the inside. So I missed a little something on this on the inside, and I remembered my Mambi sticker books. So I took the 2 quote versions that I have and I added 2 of these stickers on my flipbook. I really like that, and I'm more and more using what I have, which is also really good. I also added some of these tiny word stickers, and these are handmade by my dear friend Anne from Just Me Creating. She sent me a bunch of these handmade tiny word stickers, and I love her for that because they are amazing, and she even cut them for me. So that is what I'm going to add here as well. They have some lovely sayings which I can't read right now because the screen is too small, but they are lovely. And I'm also going to outline these. I saw Enda doing on my mail that she made for me, and I was like, oh, yes, something more I can outline. And I really like the look of it because you know me and the doodly border. So that is what I also did for this mail. And now I'm going to grab my tab punch because suddenly in my brain this happened. Wouldn't it be cool if it had tabs? So this wasn't planned out at all. This just happened. This just popped into my brain, and I went for it. So I took 2 pieces of the wood grain paper that were a little bit bluish, and I am going to punch out 3 tabs. So 2 tabs from this specific piece of paper and 1 from the other, so that they would alternate on the flipbook. And I really, sometimes I think, Kyra, you came up with something so cool. I was so excited with myself when I thought of this idea. So I wanted to add these tabs, and I am going to write on them art, and then the second one will have fun, but I was in doubt what to write, so that's what you're seeing here. But it will be art, fun, read, and they will be on the side of my flipbook, so you can also see them when the flipbook is closed. And I thought it would give a bit of an extra dimension and a bit of extra, you know, interest to the whole flipbook. So I'm just going to stick them down on the sides of the pockets. Luckily enough, it was the perfect size because I didn't think of that before. I just punched the tags of the tabs, of course, but they were the perfect size for my pocket, so that was a good thing. I don't know what I would have done if they wouldn't, yeah, just to let you know that I also think of things on the fly. Most of these things are on the fly. I started out with, I want to make a top folding flipbook with these papers. That was my start. I didn't have any other plan before that, so yeah, so I'm just going to add these tabs on the side, and now you will also know what will be put in all the pockets. I add some washi on the back to secure them a bit down so they will not come up in the mail, because there are of course pieces of paper stuck on there with corners. But that is what I'm going to do, and now I'm going to start my process of adding goodies. So what I like to do is I always like to add washi tape, and I put that on a playing card or anything else that's a bit plastic, because that will make sure that the washi can come off properly. And what I like to do is I like to add embellishments or goodies that will fit this meal, so everything is in the theme or in the same color. I added some of the feathers, I added some of the cotton stickers, so that is what I always try to do, that it looks like a whole. I really enjoy doing that. So now I'm taking a piece of writing paper. This is from a flow book I cut out of it. It's a flow notebook. I'm not quite sure how it's called. It's very old. But I thought the green would look nice with the pocket there. And I added some of the washi that I also included as a goodie for her. So that would also tie in everything with each other. And I'm just folding it and slipping it in there and for her to read. And there's my tag. The whole reason that I made this flipbook this size is the tag. And it fits in there perfectly. I didn't keep in mind that there would be ribbons. So I'm struggling a little bit figuring out how I want to add it in there without messing around too much with the ribbon. But then I was like, oh, screw this, I'm just going to put it in there, it's okay. It's just ribbon. So I also add some Project Life cards in blue tones, because this mill is very blue, and I thought that would also fit really nice in there. And now I am going to take a piece of twine, and because of the ribbon of the tag, it was standing open a little bit, like a bit of a gator mouth. So I take a piece of twine and I wrap it around twice. Now I'm doing it first once, but then I realize I have enough twine to do it twice, and tie it together so that it will be nice closed when I send it out in the mail. So now I am going to make an envelope, and this envelope is without my envelope punch board, because my envelope punch board cannot make an envelope with this size, and I really wanted to have an envelope that would fit with this flipbook. So I'm figuring out how I want to do it, and I use my flipbook as a template on how big it should be. So I scored on both sides, I think 1 inch, and then I score in on 5.5 inches a little gusset, so I can fold this piece of paper and my mail fit in there. Then on the top I also score 1 inch, and that will be the flap, but I will extend the flap with another piece of paper. So in essential, there on 3 sides of this envelope I scored 1 inch, and the middle is scored on 5 inches or 5.5. So now I am cutting out on the scoring lines the excess paper on the top with the flap, and I am cutting out the triangle, but I did it the wrong side around. But it doesn't matter because it will be on the inside. And I cut off the excess paper on the bottom part that will fold up, because you don't need a double gluing stuff. So I also remove a little piece of the bottom. I just needed to make sure that the space would be big enough for the flipbook to fit in. Now I'm going to add some glue, and I'm going to fold the whole thing together. And this is basically an envelope. And like I said, it will not close properly right now because the top flap is too short, but I just extend the flap with another piece of pattern paper that will fit the meal. So I'm going to addition a few papers, and then I find this feather paper. I was thinking about using scraps, but that didn't work out. But I find this feather paper that I'm going to use, this one, and I will adhere that to my flap. But first I will measure it, of course. I think, how big did I make my flap? Of course, the width of my envelope, which is 10 inches. And I think I did 2 inches of a flap. And I'm just going to adhere that to this little piece. And now it is a big flap that actually can close properly and be sealed properly once I send it out. No one knows that it wasn't there yet. And then I'm going to cut some triangles on the sides to make it look like a flap of an envelope. And I cut one on one side first and use the other one as a template on the other side. So now I saw that my paper broke a little bit, so I am adding some double-sided tape to the bottom, and I will fold it over to the other side, and I will cover that with washi tape so it looks pretty and that the mail will not break or come apart when it is in the postal service. And I will do this for all the sides of the envelope. Don't worry, you don't have to watch that. I show you just this first side and then we will move on. I also added an extra piece of washi tape on the inside of the flap, not to make it pretty, but more to secure the flap a little bit more, just in case. I mean, that's the most securing I can ever do, right? So yeah, now I'm going to continue my process and add washi tape to all the sides of my envelope. And after I did that, I will try to fit my flipbook in, but the washi tape had to be cut a little bit to make sure that it would fit in nicely in my flipbook. And now I have a custom made envelope for this flipbook. Now I'm going to decorate my envelope, of course, and like I said, I like to use the same things on everything to make it a whole, so I also use a feather and the cotton stickers on my envelope to add some embellishments. So now I'm going to finish this off, and I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that it was a bit helpful, me explaining what I'm doing. I'm sorry if it wasn't clear completely all the way. I'm not doing that great, so my head is a bit chaotic. So I will try to do better, let me know. And if you like this video, I would love it if you would give me a thumbs up. And thank you all so much for watching. I would also love it if you would consider subscribing to my channel, and I hope to see you all next time. Bye!